The journey of Kael from nomad to settler. Kael had always known the rhythm of the hunt. Born in the Paleolithic era, he had grown up chasing game across the vast plains, gathering berries and nuts with his tribe, and moving from place to place in search of food. His world was simple yet demanding. Everyday survival was a challenge, and Kael thrived in it. He was strong with sharp instincts, and he took pride in being a skilled hunter. His tribe was small, only about 20 people. They had no permanent home, just temporary shelters made of animal hides and branches. They followed the herds of deer and bison, knowing that staying in one place too long meant starvation. The elders often spoke of how their ancestors had lived the same way for countless generations. But one day, everything began to change. It started with a meeting between Kael's tribe and another group of people they had never encountered before. These newcomers looked similar to Kael's tribe, but there was something different about them. They weren't wandering like Kael's people. Instead, they lived in a place they called a village. They had crops growing in neat rows and animals that didn't run away when approached. They didn't hunt for food every day. Instead, they harvested it from the land. Kyle was both fascinated and skeptical. How could these people trust the earth to provide them without the constant need to move? His tribe had always depended on their mobility to survive. Yet he couldn't deny the abundance of food these people seemed to have, nor the sense of stability that their life seemed to offer. One of the villagers, named Thoron, noticed Kyle's curiosity. Over the next few days, Thoron showed Kyle around the village. He explained how they had learned to plant seeds in the ground and grow crops like wheat and barley. He showed Kyle the animals they had tamed, sheep, goats, and cattle that provided them with meat, milk, and wool. At first, Kyle found it difficult to believe that such a life was sustainable. He was used to the unpredictability of the hunt, where one day's success could mean survival and another's failure could mean doom. But as he spent more time in the village, he began to see the advantages of the new way of life. The villagers didn't have to risk their lives hunting large, dangerous animals. They didn't have to move constantly, uprooting their lives every moment. Despite his growing interest, Kyle was torn. He loved the freedom of the nomadic life, the thrill of the hunt, and the bond he had with his tribe. Yet the village offered something his tribe could never have: stability, safety, and a future that didn't involve constant struggle. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Kyle sat with Thoron and asked the question that had been burning in his mind. Why did you stop moving? How did you know this would work? Thoron just smiled, looking out over the fields. We didn't know at first. It was a risk. But we saw that the land could provide if we treated it well. It wasn't easy in the beginning. There were failures, lean years, and we lost many crops. But over time, we learned, we adapted, and now we thrive. Kyle thought about his tribe. They were strong, resourceful, and resilient, but they were also weary, worn down by the endless pursuit of food. Could they adapt as these villagers had? Could they settle down and change their way of life? The next morning, Kyle made his decision. He returned to his tribe and gathered them around the fire. He spoke of the village, of the possibilities that settling down could offer them. There was resistance, of course. Some feared change. Others were reluctant to abandon the ways of their ancestors. But Kyle's words struck a chord with many. They were tired of the endless wandering, the uncertainty of each day, and so, with a mix of hope and trepidation, they agreed to try. Over the next months, Kyle's tribe slowly began to transition from their nomadic lifestyle. They chose a place near the village to settle, where the soil was fertile and water was plentiful. Thoron and his people helped them learn the ways of farming, and soon the tribe was planting their own crops and raising their own animals. It wasn't easy. There were many challenges, and some longed for the old ways. But as the season passed, the tribe began to see the benefits. Their children grew strong with a reliable food source, and they no longer had to face the constant dangers of the wild. Soon, Kael stood on a hill one evening, looking over the fields they had cultivated. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the land. For the first time in his life, he felt a sense of peace, of belonging to a place rather than being a perpetual wanderer. The world had changed, and so had he. Kael had moved from the Paleolithic times into the Neolithic age, not just in terms of his lifestyle, but in his understanding of what it meant to be human. He had traded the uncertainty of the hunt for the certainty of the harvest, and in doing so, had helped lead his people into a new era. The end.